Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Phil from Zaid Comics. I'm the writer and co-creator of Magic Hop, which is in demand now on Indiegogo, and just one half of the two best-looking brothers in all of comics. And today we have a very special guest, the inker extraordinaire himself, Art Thibert. Thank you for coming on and talking with us tonight, Art. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, good time. We just had you on my show a couple days ago, so that
Yeah.
was fun. So I guess we just can't get enough of each other here.
Yeah. No, I was super surprised because I think you and I and my brother were on Mandy's show together a few weeks ago or last month sometime. And then I was actually going to ask you if I could come on your show, but you had not followed me yet, so I couldn't message you. I'm like, whatever. And then you retweeted one of my tweets and then followed me, and then you asked me. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. And I love that you're doing that on your channel now. Talking about other people's stuff. Not not too many people are doing that anymore. So it's good that other people are picking it up.
Oh yeah, I've always done it for the last year or so.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I remember even having like Donald DeLay, like one of the few Donald DeLay appearances
Yeah.
was on Hacks Chat, and I think I even who was it? Nasser. I think I had
Oh.
Nasser way back when in the day.
Yeah. This is oh man, it's been a crazy year. It's coming up to the time like because I'm in Chicago on our big convention C2E2. I actually met Nasser last year at C2E2. I met him and Elliot Fernandez, and we were hanging out. And yeah, and then Elliot did a cover for Magic Hop, which was awesome. So that was kind of like where everything began with for me and all of this. Like we were just in the formative stages of being like, yeah, we're gonna do Magic Hop and all that. But it's been an awesome ride, and it's all going to pay off this year. It's going to be a great year for everybody, I think. But you have your newest project up on Indiegogo right now,
Sure do.
Chrono Mechanics. And you are, I mean, you are a long running industry guy, and we could talk about that in a second. But I want to show off this awesome book you have here, Chrono Mechanics. Now, where did like you come up with this idea? Because this is not a new thing, right?
Yeah, I had this for about 15 years. I think my daughter was like 7. That's why you see 7s pop up all over the place in the story.
Yeah.
And yeah, I originally did it through Image Comics, and so she's 23 now. So I whatever the math is, it's been a while. And yeah, so I did it then, and just like all these creative ideas that you have, they never quite go away. So you just keep thinking of new stories, new situations you can get these characters in. So my heart really is in the independence, even though I have 36 years in the comics industry,
Yeah.
as a writer, penciler, inker. But the independence is where my heart is at, and telling my own stories, writing my own stories, creating IPs is really where my passion is. So I'm really glad that you always wait for these opportunities in life where you can do these independent projects and actually it's financially viable. I have a mortgage, I have a family, I have to provide for things like that. So the reason I hadn't done this sooner is because there really wasn't a viable, avenue to do crowdfund or independent comic books until, the last year or so.
Right. And I like you said, like this is the opportunity for that, and this is such a kind of like different direction than people normally know you for. You look at something like another IP that you have, like Black and White. It's very different. Even the art style, the theme of the book, the aesthetic, and what's going on. Different type of action happening. So I love that you're able to flex your muscles here and bring this back and show everybody a different style you could do. It's really awesome.
That's another reason why I wanted to be, doing independent work, is because there's a lot of different styles and there's a lot of different ideas that I have that you really can't do in the mainstream. And also just I'm a little jaded because I've given away quite a bit of style and ideas to other talent. So
Yeah.
when you're an inker, you can contribute, but what a penciler can do is start integrating those ideas into their penciling. And so then if they move on to another inker, that inker is just basically duplicating the pencils.
Hmm.
And a lot of times you never know where that style came from, or that particular hatch or kind of approach that you brought in. So it's kind of a thankless job because your style can be easily absorbed by the penciler. You know what I mean? And then they can claim that as their own. So
Right.
I started being very territorial later in my career and not as generous with as far as innovating or trying to do unique and different things, and always kind of keeping them on the back burner for a chance like Chrono Mechanics or Black and White, with Comicsgate and all that other
Hmm.
good stuff.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. We're gonna say hey to the chat. El Guapo Comics in the chat. What's up, brother? He's excited for the interview here. And Death Metal Hero. I saw Luke was on your channel, I think last week, right? A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I've been talking to Luke off the air, and it's just so hard to draw and work while you're streaming.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to work out like a schedule where Luke could come in and kind of do the razzle dazzle while I do
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
the art. Yeah.
Yeah, Luke's awesome. I met him the first time on Dan Fraga's stream. He would have the link open for everybody, and I jumped in there, and then him and I had been on there a bunch, just hanging out and talking about comics, which is really cool. I was just talking to Luke today and being like, "Yo, where's Dan? He hasn't been streaming. He must be having his head down on the drawing board."
Yeah, Death Metal Hero has he has the best hair in the business.
Yeah, that's true. El Gargoyle in the chat. What's up, El Gargoyle? Shout outs to him. Yeah, man. So which company did you start at? Did you start at Image?
I started with the independents, believe it or
Yeah.
not, and it's never left me. So I started working for it was Aardvark Banheim, which are the Cerebus people, but
All
then
right.
uh, her name is Denny Lobert, and she was married to Dave Sim, and they were kind of separating.
Mm-hmm.
So she got, I don't know how it worked, but Renegade Press came out of that. So I think he stayed with Aardvark Banheim and started doing Cerebus or kept doing Cerebus through there. But then she had her own publishing company called Renegade Press. And so I started working with them and doing independent books with Jim Valentino. So Jim Valentino had a character named Normal Man, and I kind of ghosted and helped him out as an assistant, and then kind of learned the ropes, that way in the studio with him. And then he went on to working with Apple Comics, I think they were called, and that's the Wendy and Richard Pinney company. They do ElfQuest.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, that's kind of a big indie book. It's still
Yeah.
around. And so started working with them. But the biggest problem was independents didn't pay very well. And sometimes they didn't pay at all. So publishers would mean well, and they go, oh, on the back end, you'll get X amount of dollars. But a lot of times those X amount of dollars would never show up.
Yeah.
So that's why I went into the mainstream, believe it or not, was just to get a steady paycheck. So I knew Marvel and DC paid steadily, and I didn't have to worry about not getting paid. So that's kind of why I went into the mainstreams, to be honest.
Yeah. And since then you've done a bunch of and done and inked a bunch of comics and comic creators. I was just in my local comic shop a couple months ago looking through old Etrigan the Demon comics because I'm a huge Etrigan fan, and I'm like, oh, I saw your name on some Demon books and picked them all up just because the art looked awesome and I loved the character. I didn't know that you did that at all, and I'm sure you've inked tons of characters throughout every company out there.
Yeah, there's a few titles that I wish I had a significant run on.
Yeah.
I think almost every iconic Marvel DC character I do have, at least 6 issues of a run, but I never got to work on Justice League. I never worked on the Hulk, which was like I really, really wanted to do like at least 6 issues on the Hulk, and then Wonder Woman and the Avengers. So those are like the big icons that I never really got a run on, that I wish I had. So, I'm still young. I'm only, 58. So I'm still young. There's still time.
Sure. Well, you're doing the you got indies back, man. You got you don't need those other characters.
Yeah, who needs those guys?
Yeah, who needs the Hulk?
We have Chrono Mechanics in black and white.
Yeah, and I hear a lot more coming down the pipeline. Some new stuff you're talking about in the other stream, which is really exciting. I'm the same way where I love creating characters and IPs, and just love letting other people out there in on my ideas, and I want them to be as excited about it as I am. So that's why it's like, man, I'm doing this book, and then I'm in the process of getting ready to launch this one, and I have another one coming. It's really crazy right now with all that.
It's all good stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of things, and I'm going to preview my next IP or comic idea on the cover of Oodles of Doodles Volume 2. So all I can say is sexy biker chicks.
Ooh.
And then I have a tagline. I almost always come up with concepts with taglines. So it's hell bent, heaven sent. So
that's awesome.
That's what I got.
I love biker babes, man. That is half the reason I love Simon Bisley so much. It's all the biker babes.
I'm definitely gonna delve into some of that stuff. But everybody's like, why are you doing Chrono, man? Do some hot babe books. And I'm like, because my heart's with Chrono right now.
Yeah.
But they're like, are there hot babes in Chrono Mechanics? And I'm like, yeah, there's some groupies and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm sure Doug's got a bunch of groupies.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we got a question here from the chat from El Guapo Comics. Art, are you more excited about creating/writing stories or drawing stories now?
I think it's all the above, but I'm really liking just storytelling. I'm not really a writer. I have a little dyslexia problem, so it's hard for me to write things out. So I mostly do them in layout form. It doesn't really take me any longer than it would if I was to write it out. So I pretty much draw everything out. I heard that Keith Giffen does the same. He just lays everything out. He doesn't really write it out. So that's the way I do it. And I used to, when I worked, I would get kind of into a little bit more detail with the layouts. Mm-hmm. And now I've learned, don't get too precious with it and just do chicken scratches, put it down there, and then just keep moving forward, because I'll know what the chicken scratches are supposed to be. Because it's just like writing. That's what's great about writing is you don't get too precious, because the words you're not crafting or creating, you're stringing a sentence and paragraphs together, but you didn't create that word. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't craft that word per se. Yeah. But when you're drawing, you have to craft everything. So it takes a little bit more time. So I do understand the benefits of writing, and then you don't get too precious with it as well. You know what I mean? Because you didn't invent the word "the," so you're not getting too crazy over that. Yeah. So that's why I do really like the storytelling process, and I think I'm just more of a visual person as well.
For sure. Yeah. So let's talk about this book. What is Chrono Mechanics about?
Okay, I'm kind of crafting a new pitch, like a quicker pitch. Right, so let's see if this works. So this is still a little rough. A team of time repairmen who stop the world from falling apart by fixing and maintaining the big cosmic clockwork machine, now or known as time itself. So that's see,
that's pretty concise. Good pitch.
dyslexic. Let me try reading that again because I think I misspelled a lot of these words. A team of time repairmen who stop the world from falling apart by fixing, maintaining the big cosmic clockwork machine known as time itself. There you go.
I dig it. And this is kind of like you coming from the background of us doing Magic Hop over here at Zade Comics. It's kind of like a book that you wouldn't see regular. Like people aren't familiar with this type of book. Like this isn't a superhero book. This isn't a regular comic book. It's something new and fresh that is being put into comics, which is a reason why I love this book, because it's you don't really see this in comics. It's kind of a different genre and a different take on the medium, which I love, and it looks super cartoony. Like I said, a totally different style than what people are used to seeing you from, and seeing from you, I should say. And it's like a fresh take in Comicsgate and in the comics industry here. And I really lend that to being such a fertile area for comic creators right now, where we could take these chances and put like our passion projects out there.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And I do understand that it's a harder sell. You know what I mean? And I do understand at this point I have to be more patient with it. But that's why I'm on shows like yours and trying to explain it and get people excited about it, because I know when they get this book in their hands, they're going to love it. You know what I mean? It's so original outside of the box that I think it'd be hard pressed to compare it to anything. And it's going to feel unique, not just the artwork, but I think the tone and the story as well. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was just talking to my brother Brandon about that. Talking about Magic Hop, where it's so something new and fresh that it's not like something someone's seen before that they're actually like immediately going to lash onto, like, oh, this reminds me of Frank Miller, stuff like that. It's totally something new, where you're going to have, once people read it, you're going to get that cult following where they're going to come back for the sequels, because they're like, oh, this is something cool. I can't get this anywhere else. And that's what Chrono Mechanics is also. They're not going to be able to go to the mainstream and be like, oh yeah, this is similar, and I'm going to, read this instead. So this is, people are going to be coming back to this story.
That's the hopes. And usually things that are unique and different, they take a little bit longer, but I think they sustain longer as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then they influence, and then they become kind of the norm after a while. But I think everything that has been kind of inspired throughout time has had a little bit of a tougher time, at in the beginning phases of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I could totally see this as a animated series, and you have the great premise where you can make it like an episodic thing. So you can have a complete story in one book, and then, go to a different time that they get involved in some hijinks, and it's a totally new story, which I love concepts like that. It's really cool. I like to talk and go over the characters, if you wouldn't mind, if you could kind of like tell us about these characters we're seeing here.
Sure. I got to put my pen down. I'm trying to get a little bit of work while I'm talking.
No problem.
Yeah. So we have the oldest member, which is Oot, and he's a prehistoric businessman. So his backstory is that we used to call him the prehistoric Donald Trump, like in the animation pitch.
Yeah.
I realize now that that's probably not a good idea.
Means something different now.
Yeah. And so he's in real estate. So he's the originator of the condo. So he's got cave condos, and each one of the cave condos is outfitted with a fire pit. So he also says he invented fire. So you can imagine he's pretty popular, in his timeline.
Yeah.
And so he's really, really successful. He's a businessman, but he's also a family man. So he's got a bunch of little Oots. They all have the same name because he's not very creative. He's a prehistoric guy,
Yeah.
and he's got a wife, and so he's very clever and resourceful. So that's why Chrono Incorporated hired him for the job. So and then we have Caravaggio, who's the guy in blue with the big pointed nose and always has this contempt on his face. He's based on the real Caravaggio, the Renaissance painter, and so this version is a little bit. It's a little bit of a departure, but it is based on that character. So, historically speaking, they were saying Caravaggio never really got his upcomings in his timeline. It wasn't until later that they realized how genius he was. So he's a frustrated artist, basically. In his timeline, he's always like, I am so great. Why don't you guys see the genius of the great Caravaggio? And so you could see why he was recruited. And so then we have Zin, who's the little blue squid guy, and he's a child. He's a child deity, and so he's kind of got this mantra of the me, myself, and I. So it's kind of a belief in yourself. So he has the Trinity gem, which is the three sides: the me, myself, and I. So he goes around the galaxy, and he's pretty much a philosopher. He's always preaching, the word of independence and you can do it, kind of thing, like a self-help kind of thing. But the only thing is, all of his followers are all lower life forms throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
Not the sharpest of the sharp. Yeah. So so he was recruited, and then we have Doug, the 70s rock rock god, and he gets recruited, and of course everybody's wondering why. Why? How is this guy going to fit into the team? He's from the latter 20th century, which, as far as Chrono Incorporated, which is the company that hires, all these guys to repair time. They don't recruit from the latter 20th century because they don't think there's anybody worthwhile in the latter 20th century, because they're all slackers and self-absorbed and, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the setup, is like, why this guy? So as you read the story, you'll see how he may or may not fit into the team. So that's the first story arc.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a crazy cast. I love the humor that's in this book. I find it hard to write humor, so it's good to see books doing it out there. I think it's we're not seeing, we're seeing it a lot more now, especially with Cecil's book that just launched. But when it works, and I think having a crazy motley crew of characters here definitely works in this book, showing the crazy extremes through time of these characters. I love it.
Yeah, and once they're recruited, like you can see there in the cover, that they're kind of like Captain Marvel. So when they suit up, they have a body transformation suit. So when they suit up, they become kind of like superheroes.
Yeah.
So they have increased strength and agility, stamina. And the reason why is because this is unlike any job. Like, you have to be superhuman to do this job.
Yeah.
So the idea is that it's kind of the mundane meets the super fantastic. So you have this like worker, blue collar ethic, with like the super fantastic, right? They have to fix the big machine. They go through all these timelines, through all these different cosmos, and see all these things that no human has ever seen before. But to them, it's just a pain in the ass. It's just their pain in the ass job. They just can't wait to put in their 8 hours and come home.
For sure. That's awesome. And it looks like you have a lot available through here, whether it be prints from other artists, stuff like that. That's really cool. If we take a look at the stretch goals down here that you blew past, there's like guitar picks, buttons, prints. Yeah.
if you scroll back a little bit, you can see the trading cards. So there's
Oh, yeah.
4 trading cards, which is the Superstar collection. So we unlocked all of those. And then there's the team trading cards. So there's 5 trading cards there. And then there's the button or the badge. And then the guitar pick, which is Doug's Luck E pick. And that's actually a character in the story. So it's not just a guitar pick. It's actually a character in the story. And
That's
you'll have
cool.
to find out what that's all about.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's something that I want to do as well for my next campaign, doing those trading card stretch goals. I think that's an awesome idea. Showing off some other artists' work for your book, because I think that's one of my favorite parts of doing campaigning for like Magic Hop, that I'm still getting fan art for Magic Hop, and like this week we got a new one, and it's just like blows my mind seeing these characters that my brother and I came up with, drawn in a different style, different ways, and it's awesome to see the support and people digging your stuff enough that they want to draw it. So like trading cards like this, where you could see your work in someone else's through someone else's hand, is always gets me excited.
Yeah, and they nailed it, man. So if you go, yeah, right there, you can see them maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, they're up here too.
Yeah, there's the artwork. Yeah, so that's Carlo Barberi, DC Marvel artist. He and I were working on Super Sons for DC Comics.
Oh yeah.
Last year, and so then we have Aaron Lopresti, who's a Superstar comic artist as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's working on the Justice League right now. And then we have Doug, done by Tom Bancroft, and he's a Disney animator. His brother directed Mulan, and he's the key animator for that character Mushu, the dragon.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, and then we have Oot, who's done by Sean Cheeks Galloway, and he's a major designer for like cartoon shows and video games. So his big claim to fame is he did the design work for the 2 Hellboy animated movies, and he did, I think it was the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon show. So he's really talented. He's really good.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I love campaigns that include extra stuff like that, and that's great because like if you guys haven't backed this yet, now that you're backing, at this point, you're gonna get all those goodies, which is the great part of crowdfunding campaigns and those stretch goals.
That, and we added 12 extra pages, so it started off with a 48-page book. So now with the help of everybody that's backed it and supported it, we're at 60 pages, which is killer.
Yeah, that is awesome. So your featured tier here, you get the book and the sketchbook. So can you talk about the sketchbook for a little bit?
Yeah, it's a work in progress sketchbook. So I thought it would be fun to do like these crowdfundings. They can be themed. So a lot of the extras and stuff can be themed to the story or the concept. So the work in progress sketchbook is it's going to be horizontal. So it's going to be kind of like a calendar or like a centerfold. So it's going to, it's more up and down than left to right, how you read it. And then it's, instead of like me saying, oh, this is what I was thinking when I came up with this, that, or the other thing, it's going to be narrated by the elucidator. So that guy in the light blue there, he's the Chrono Elucidator. He's basically the computer data bank for Chrono Incorporated. So he knows everything. So he's going to narrate the sketchbook. So he's going to go, when Art came on the job to do this or to do that. So it's all going to be from his point of view. So I thought that would be fun and unique and different. And then the drawings under, the black and white drawings under, are some of the pages that will be featured in the work in progress. So there's Doug as Slash from Guns N' Roses. And there's a lot of kind of like work studies, like different turnarounds and things for the characters to try to figure out, how they would look, different emotions, different views and stuff like that. So I have a ton of that stuff that I'm going to put in the book. And also I'm going to put in my I did a Fox Pitchorama. It was called Pitchorama. So I did an 11-page comic book for Fox for an animated cartoon show. I'm not sure all 11 pages are going to be in the sketchbook, but some of the pages will be. And then I'm going to put some of the Kids WB pitch that I did in the book as well.
Oh, wow.
So
Cool.
there's going to be like a lot of unique and different stuff in the work in progress sketchbook.
No, yeah, that's awesome. I love seeing that, like the concept stuff. Those turnarounds are super fun. And, the more content, the more reading content someone can get, the better, because this is, that's the total package. So I think the featured perk is probably the best, because you get the book, the sketchbook, and the cards, for $50. I mean, that's a lot of reading material, like you said. And that's a fun, kind of like new thing with doing the side with the long ways book with the narrator. I really dig that.
Oh, thanks. And each one of the main books or the books themselves come with an accompanying trading card.
Oh,
so
sweet.
like the book itself comes with a team card. The work in progress comes with a Eugene trading card, and each one of the cards will have stats on the back. So there's a four book, like with variant covers by all those people we're talking about. So
Right.
each one of those will come with a trading card as well. So the Caravaggio cover will come with the Caravaggio card, so on and so on. And then there's going to be 10 collectible cards in the set. So the only place you can get all 10 is in the ultimate Chrono Mechanics tier. That one right there. Yeah.
Sweet. That is awesome, man. Yeah, if you guys have not checked this out, go on over, visit the Indiegogo page, and give it a back. It's doing great now. And you think you're going to do a sequel to this in the future?
I have a sequel planned. Hopefully, we can build this thing, because as well as I do, like 30,000 sounds great, but that's pretty much just going to pay for everything, and not myself. It's going to pay for, coloring, lettering, the pencil assistance that I'm having with Render Contender, and then the printing, and then of course the Indiegogo percentage, and also the shipping comes out of that price as well.
Yeah. And you have a bunch of add-ons, all the prints and stuff like that. It all comes into account.
And then the stretch goals come out of that as well. So right now we're probably at a break-even point.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of profit, but not really a whole lot. So if we can get this, and I like I said earlier, I know it's going to be a long haul thing, because it is unique and different. So once we get this thing to maybe around the 40K mark, then I'm gonna seriously start thinking about a follow-up, because I already have a story. I already have a story, and the basic idea for the follow-up is going to be like, there's the 7 wonders of the world, and so it's like the 7 wonders all of a sudden just disappear from time. Like no one can find them; they're just gone. And so then the mechanics have to rebuild the 7 wonders. So all 4 of those guys are like kind of overseeing the building of the 7 wonders, and they have a deadline, and they have a budget and all this other stuff that they have to do. And then what you find out in the story, that there's an 8th wonder of the world, and I'm just going to spoil it. I'm going to say it right now. The 8th wonder of the world is actually Chrono Incorporated.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love the playing with time, and you have these iconic places that you could go, and it's really really going to be interesting. And I mean, this looks like it could totally be a Pixar film,
Yeah, thank you. And I don't want it to be. It was never intended to be taken too seriously. The time travel aspects of it, and it's not a G versus E kind of idea. So there's really no bad guys in it. So it really is just action adventure.
Yeah.
It's just pretty straightforward. There is tension and there is drama, but it's just not like there's a bad guy.
For sure.
Now
Now
there are fights though.
Cool. So you had another project that is going to be launching soon with a special black and white cover that I wanted to kind of talk about that because that we talked about it the other night and it looked really cool. I wanted to show that off to everybody in the audience tonight.
Okay, let me
And
see if I can find this. Can you see this?
yep, I got it. It's up right now.
Okay, yeah. I was asked by Dynamite to do a black and white Vampirilla variant cover. So this is the line art for that. And it's right
Wow.
now. Oh, thank you. It's with Kyle Ritter. So Kyle Ritter's doing the coloring on it. Hope he's feeling better because that guy's had a pretty bad time the last week or so.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he looks like he's doing better, but his colors are out of this world, and this cover um, with his colors is going to be crazy. Has he colored any of your work before?
He did the first cover of Black and White.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah, and I've worked with him in the past, but more as a fan. Like he was a fan of my work,
yeah,
so I would do commissions, and then he would grab them off Deviant. I think that's where he got the copies from, and then he
yeah,
would color them up, and then he would send them to me. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And so then when I saw like Ethan doing Cyberfrog, and I was like, who's this colorist? This stuff's
yeah.
amazing. And then I looked at the name, I'm like, holy crap, that's Kyle.
No, yeah, this is going to be awesome. Do you know what issue this is going to be for?
I don't.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm not sure what the details are, but I'm hoping to get this out by like second week of February, somewhere around there.
Sweet. Yeah, it's awesome that Dynamite is doing this. Vampirella, they had a new relaunch that was huge for them, and they're just trying to just get it out there more and kind of like spreading the love to these awesome artists, uh, giving them a chance to put their own characters in it. We've seen it with Ethan did Cyberfrog with that, which I actually just got a package from him, so I think it's my Cyberfrog finally
Yeah,
today.
now, yeah. Oh, you
Yeah,
mean the actual Cyberfrog or the Cyberfrog Vampirilla cover?
the book. It's the actual Cyberfrog book
Oh, cool.
because I got the ash cans too. So after this, I'm gonna open that up, probably do an unboxing video. I'm really excited about that.
I was one of the lucky guys that actually he shipped 3 copies to me independent of each other, and I only paid for one.
That's awesome.
So if you see Cyberfrog books up on eBay, they're
Yeah,
probably mine.
that's awesome. Man, Vampirella's looking hot here.
Oh, thank you.
I love the awesome Robo Skulls everywhere. We talked about that before. Really, really cool. Now, do you have plans of doing another black and white? Are we gonna be able to see any of that soon?
Yeah, there's going to be a follow-up. There's a volume 2 that's in the works. So I have a cover that's pretty tightly done right now. I mean, it's laid out wise. I could probably ink off of it, with the exception of maybe a few details.
Yeah,
And but I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to use that for the volume 2 cover, or if I'm going to do a reissue. So I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to do a reissue, which might be a newsprint version of the book with a wraparound cover. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to use that artwork for, and trying to figure out, what it's really it's so weird. It's hard to try to figure out what you're going to do next. Like, what's your next project? Because you got to figure out how to build off of the success of the other one, or how to build like a new kind of fan base based on a different IP like Chrono Mechanics. So because I'm finding out that each one is uniquely different. Like Black and White is nothing like the Chrono Mechanics campaign. Like it's
right,
completely different.
for sure.
How you sell it and how you set it all up. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what the next order should be. But what I have planned, what I do know is the Vampirilla cover, the one that you're looking at right now, will come out first, and that will be in February. So I'm hoping sometime in February that I'll have the reissue or the second chance version of Black and White. And then I'm not sure what's going to be next, but it's either going to be volume 2 of Black and White or Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff 2, volume 2. That will be the follow-up to my art book.
Awesome. Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's especially for us smaller guys, the crowdfunding is all about risk, man. And like, is how well this is going to do, what you should offer with the campaign, when you're going to launch the campaign, is everything you do about creating these indie books now and putting them up for crowdfunding is all about risk. And it's crazy and a lot of work and a long grind, but it's such a blast that we're able to put the stuff that we love out there and get people's attention, and they, you know, are enjoying it as much as we are enjoying making it. It's great.
Yeah, that's the hope. And then it's also trying to, because I don't have a voice in the indie market, so it's also trying to establish a voice. So I have 35 years, you know, almost 36 years invested in the industry, but that's working for mainstream companies.
Right.
This is totally unique and different. You know, there is some crossover, but it's a completely different market. And, you know, we have to brand and market ourselves. We don't have like an advertising, you know, company or employees. You know, we're wearing many hats. We're doing all those things ourselves. And I'm finding it like you, it's a lot of work, but it almost feels like it feels better when you succeed when it's your own book versus, you know, a Marvel or DC book.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're about time to wrap up, but Art, if you don't mind, I'd love to show off some of my projects that are coming on.
Good. Yeah. Did you sell those cards yet? You had 4 new cards.
Yeah, we sold one of them. So actually, let's take a look at those. So if you guys aren't aware, this is my book Magic Cop, and as Art said, we did put up 4 new sketch cards, you know, pencil inked and colored with Copic markers by Passion for Drawing, an awesome CG creator. The one that sold was our Bone Daddy-O, the antagonist of the book.
I knew it. I'm just gonna say the next one that's gonna sell is the witch chick in green.
Yeah, I posted her on Twitter today, hopefully to grab some attention, because I think that one's going to be the next one to go. So if you guys are interested in awesome original art, these are trading card sized. We have, you know, the 2 main guys, Magic Cop and Grey Wolf, and Helly, the sexy witch cop. She is still available. And if you guys already backed the book, you could grab one for, you know, free shipping. And we'll throw it in your package for you. But I would say, if you guys haven't backed yet, the best bang for your buck is this featured tier. You get the book, which is now 92 pages. The Ash Can, which is our behind the scenes book. It's actually pretty similar to Art's sketchbook. We have a bunch of concepts, back material, and a 12-page pilot issue in there. And then you'll get your choice of one of these 3 sketch cards. So check that out, and check the page out. You know, we have an awesome trailer for you guys to watch with some sick music. And once we get to 150 backers, which we're at 121 now, which we're so excited about that. When we hit 150, our next backer goal, everyone is going to be able to get that Magic Cop theme song, so they can, you know, drive down the local beaches, blasting the song.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, so check out Magic Cop, guys. And I wanted to actually take a second. I'm setting up the mailing list launch page for our next project, which is launching after we fulfill Magic Cop. It's called The Lost Pages. I wanted to show you guys that mailing list page, which we'll probably put it up next week because I'm still waiting on one piece of art. So check this out. This is a superhero book that is coming out from us at Zade Comics, written by me, Most of these characters are created by my brother and I. Some of them I just created, but Silhouette is an old character from 7 years ago that we created. And we have multiple artists on this book. So this is the first time we're really showing off this art here. We got Joe Ball, who's the artist of Super Harem. He's doing an awesome, sorcerer superhero story.
Wow, that looks
Yeah, he does a lot of detail. This character's name's Wildcard. He's an ancient sorcerer from Merlin times. All these characters will eventually come together and meet, but these are kind of like their introduction stories into the world of the Lost Pages here. So we're launching this mailing list next week. So be sure on the lookout with that. If you guys, follow me on Twitter, which is at PhilPops or at Zade Comics also. So check this out. Maxi Dallo does an awesome book called Jack Iron Steel Cowboy. And then we have a new artist that we're kind of introducing in CG named Wolf. They're doing this awesome super 90s kind of like Lobo-esque, very bombastic, crazy character, which I think everybody's going to love. Like, so excited to tell these stories and to get this art out there. It's super close. We're going to fulfill, and then we're going to go right into the Lost Pages. So yeah.
Yeah. So is it up right now? Can
It's not. It's not up yet. The mailing list page is not up yet. I'm still waiting on one piece of art for this page, which kind of like ties everything together. It has everybody on it. We'll be able to see that.
It looks great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm doing the lettering on this as well, so just really excited about this. So just wanted to show that off to everyone.
Yeah, don't let Eric Weathers know that you're doing the lettering.
I know. I actually, when I first started doing Magic Hop and getting into Comicsgate and stuff like that, I hit him up a bunch for some lettering tips because I, didn't have the extra money to pay for a letterist, and he gave me a bunch of tips. Also, Carl O'Rowe from Deathsworn, I was talking to him, and he gave me some awesome lettering tips. And I've just been, going through Magic Hop and lettering it myself. I think I've grown a lot doing that, and it really helps my editing process as well as a writer, because the letterer is kind of like the last person to look at it, and so now I'm editing while lettering and changing dialogue back with a fresh look at it, and it also helps me be a better asset to the Comicsgate network. So I have actually now been hired to letter Passion for Drawing's comic Doom Fate. So I've been lettering his pages the past couple days. So it's been fun.
Very cool.
I love. It's better to be more than just a writer. I think I feel helpful. Yeah. So thanks for watching, everybody, and Art. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been awesome having you and talking with you.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk up Chrono Mechanics. And everybody, please go back Chrono Mechanics. If you can't back it, tweet it out and and come by. And I got a YouTube channel. I try to do daily content, but it's usually more like 5 days a week. So come by. If you like what you see, please sub. It does help. And thanks so much, Philip, for having me on your show.
Yeah, no problem, man. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the like. That helps us out a lot. We do these streams every Wednesday with new creators talking about books, talking about comics, and hit that bell for notifications so you know when we are going live. We have a bunch of other content, so go through the channel, look at all the stuff we have, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks, everybody,